After the Dokkaebi disappeared, dozens of casualties appeared on the platform of Line 3. Currently there was only one room on the Line 3 platform. There was no one strong here, so the weak didn't back down and attacked each other. Die! Die! There are 30 minutes before the third scenario is activated. As pandemonium occurred around me, I was quietly reading Ways of Survival. Perhaps today's scenario would flow as I thought. In order to survive, I couldn't miss a single word. What are you doing right now? Along with Binghung's words, I could hear the message of the constellations. The constellation Prism of the Golden Headband is wondering what you're doing. I reflexively turned off my smartphone. There was something I hadn't thought of until now. Why didn't the constellations respond when I read Ways of Survival? In the original Ways of Survival, the constellations discovered that Yu Jonguk was a regressor and raised questions about fairness. It was normal for them to say something about the text I was reading. What are you doing right now with a blank notepad? All the constellations are going crazy in frustration because of you. Blank notepad? I turned on the smartphone again. Ways of Survival appeared on the screen. Is this what you're referring to? Yes, what are you doing with that notepad? You'll die if you stay still. I believed in a guy like this and signed a contract. I got goosebumps. The Dokkaebi couldn't read this text? If even the Dokkaebis, which managed this system, couldn't read it, then the constellations were the same. Then the writer who gave me this text. What type of existence was he? Ah! The last scream rang out. Finally, the owner of the room on platform Line 3 was determined. Green zone, 1 out of 1. Don't come any closer! A boy was pointing a knife at me. Surprisingly, the winner was the boy who guided us earlier. I still don't know his name. Don't worry, I won't take your room. I spoke in order to reassure the boy. The moment I had this thought. Really, you're quite relaxed, Ajishi. Do you want to die? I didn't need to look back to know who was talking. Looks you're quite free. Nobody touch my room. I'll send anyone who touches it to hell. Li Jie twirled a deep blue blade round and round. In regards to the specs, there was no one who could match Li Jie apart from Yu Jonguk or the people from the Landlord Alliance. Li Jie watched me carefully and opened her mouth. I don't want Ajishi to die. You were quite impressive against Master earlier. Don't worry, I won't die, even if I don't find a room. It was true. I wouldn't necessarily die if I couldn't find a room. There was an impossible man at the station who proved this. It was only 3 days ago. Li Jie's eyes narrowed. Ajishi, do you think you know what you're saying right now? Yeah. Ajishi, are you strong? As strong as Master? Then Yu Jonguk appeared behind Li Jie. Stop and go back to your room. Yes, Master. Li Jie obediently left, and Yu Jonguk turned to me. Are you going to fight the monsters? I shrugged. You'll die. Your 4 companions as well. That remains to be seen. There was an unknown emotion in Yu Jonguk's eyes as he glanced at me and left. I didn't use Omniscient Reader's viewpoint. It wasn't always possible to express emotions with words. There were 20 minutes before the third scenario was activated. There were sounds of people coming down the stairs. Lee Hyung-sung, Lee Gil-young, and Yu Sang-a. Looking at their dark expressions, the result was as expected. Yu Sang-a opened her mouth with a gloomy expression. Room. There were none. It's okay. Rather, where's Hee-won-shi? She's trying to negotiate upstairs. At these words, Jung Hee-won jumped down with a terrible scream. One night is 2,000 coins? Are they joking right now? I'm really gonna hit them. The agitated Jung Hee-won snorted and said, Dokshashi, do you know what's happening upstairs? They raised the taxes, right? You already knew? It was predictable. The tenants would die if they couldn't get a room in 20 minutes. It was no wonder the owners would take the initiative to raise the taxes. Did Dokshashi find anything? Nah, I didn't. Huh. I examined their faces one by one. In the end, the time to choose had come. I have 2 ways. The eyes of the party members shone at my words, but my methods probably would betray their expectations. The first way is easiest for all of us to live. Jung Hee-won's eyes narrowed. Usually it's the second method. What's the other one? The second method is very difficult. It's likely that some of us will die. That can't happen. I'll choose the first way. What do the others think? Lee Hyung-sung responded first. The method will be good if everyone can live. Lee Gil-young nodded. Only Yu Sang-a hesitated. Can I hear what it is? I nodded and led them up the stairs to Transit Line 4. This is the first method. The party members looked at where I pointed. There was a group of 5 men and women shaking. Green zone, 5 out of 5. They occupy a room that has exactly 5 spaces, but their individual abilities aren't that high. Honestly, if the 5 of us... Wait, Dokshashi, you don't mean... Yeah. Kill them and take their room. Their trembling increased at my calm voice. Jung Hee-won made a deeply wounded expression. Who doesn't know about this method? If Hyung says so, I can do it. Lee Gil-young spoke first. I'm not afraid. I'll do it. No, Gil-young! Yu Sang-a grabbed Lee Gil-young's shoulder. I deliberately looked uncaring. They would have also killed someone to take that room. Honestly, we can't overcome future scenarios if we can't do this. Dokshashi, Jung Hee-won interrupted. I killed people at Gimlo Station. I killed because I wanted to, and I don't regret it. But Jung Hee-won had a pained expression on her face. Just because I'm a murderer doesn't mean I want to keep killing. I don't want to be a monster. Dokshashi, I would like to know about the second method. I closed my eyes for a moment at Lee Hyung-sung's words. I understand your thoughts. Yes, this was enough. Let's go the second way. The expressions of the party members seemed to brighten. In fact, I was going to use the second method from the beginning. Killing was an easy way to survive, but I could never attract the attention of the Constellations if I chose the easy method. However, the second method required considerable determination. It wasn't just me, but everyone. Thus, I needed to check everyone's determination. I had to know what these people were really thinking. Jung Hee-won laughed. I thought so. Why are you talking when you were going to go with the second method anyway? I wasn't trying to test you. Whatever choice you made, I would have respected it. I stroked Lee Gil-young's head, who was looking at me with uneasy eyes. Yu-sung sighed and opened her mouth. Dokshashi is really spiteful. I'm sorry, I'm not a good person. What is the second method? There's no need to kill anybody with the second method, but it's very difficult. At my heavy tone, the expressions of the party members became determined. If you choose the second method, please unconditionally follow my instructions. Please trust me. Even if it doesn't make sense, if one person doesn't trust me, we all die. Someone gulped. The party members nodded almost simultaneously. Lee Hyung-sung said, I believe in Dokshashi. I survived up to now because of you. There are 5 minutes before the third scenario is activated. Then follow me. I moved the party members along Railway Line 3. We passed through the broken screen door and stood at the entrance of the tunnel leading to Uljuro 3. Inside the dark tunnel, I saw a glowing red zone. Perhaps the monsters would be created over there. They would sweep over Line 3 and go up each floor towards the ground. Lee Hyung-sung asked nervously, Then are we fighting the monsters here? No, we aren't fighting. If we fight here, then we'll die. It was impossible to fight against the terrifying monsters and survive until dawn without the green zone. This time, Jung Hee-won asked, Then we'll run toward the Dongdae area? That won't work. Once the scenario is activated, we'll automatically die if we leave Cheongmuro. Then, this operation needs to be shared. Lee Hyung-sung-shi, Yu Sang-ah-shi, and Jung Hee-won-shi. Once the monsters appear, run straight into the direction they are coming from. Huh? Understood? Just run toward them. Just before you encounter them, be sure to look to the left wall, then you'll know what I mean. The people didn't understand my words, but there was no time to explain to them. Just trust me or you'll die. Don't forget to look to the left wall. I understand, Dokshashi. Yu Sang-ah seemed to understand what I meant and answered first. I'm telling you in person, you must run after the monsters appear. I picked up a stone and threw it toward the tunnel. The stone sparked as it hit something and fell. Lee Hyung-sung and Jung Hee-won nodded as if they understood. What about Dokshashi? I'll find another way with Gil-young. This method couldn't be used unless my party members believed in me. Who would go against common sense can commit a suicide attack by rushing towards the monsters. The only thing left was their determination. The third main scenario was enabled. The barrier that was blocking the tunnel to Uljuro 3 disappeared. Run! 3 people started running the moment I called out. The monsters started to be created in the red zone. It was mainly the grade 9 ground rats, then the middle ranks were filled with the intermediate grade 9 underground species, the Groll. A monster with a black mane that was in the shape of a bear. The sharp horns on their foreheads were threatening. One was relatively easy to deal with, the problem was the number. The crowded columns were already not suitable to be called a group. We would die if we hit that wave. The moment Lee Hyung-sung encountered the first Groll, I shouted, Now! Yu Sang-ah found it first. Green tiles shimmered on the wall. Ah! The enlightenment was instant. The moment Yu Sang-ah's hand touched the wall, it emitted a bright light. Green zone, 1 out of 3. The agile Jung Hee-won immediately touched the wall behind her. Green zone, 2 out of 3. However, Lee Hyung-sung missed the timing. It was because the ground rats clugged Hyung-sung's shield. Hyung-sung-shi, catch! Lee Hyung-sung grabbed the thread that Yu Sang-ah threw him. Thanks to the strength of the 2 women, Lee Hyung-sung flew through the air and reached the wall. Green zone, 3 out of 3. Good. Grrr. The monster stared at them, but once they entered the green zones, the monster couldn't attack. Dokshashi! Yu Sang-ah called out to me, but there was no time to look back. I was already on my way running with Lee Gil-young on my back. In the third main scenario, there were several hidden green zones. This activated on a specific wall, and the green zones on the wall won't appear until after the scenario starts. If you think about it, humans were the one who thought of the concept of the room. In Ways of Survival, Yu Jong-ok went through numerous regressions and found some secret green zones in Cheongmuro. On platform of Line 3, there were 2 such green zones. A few of the ground rats chasing me bit my leg. The blow wasn't big enough because of my high strength, but these small things would accumulate. Lee Gil-young hit a few ground rats with a blunt weapon from his position on my back, but there were too many of them. In addition, the Groll were fast. A dozen meters away, the boy was looking at me with terrified eyes. Green zone, 1 out of 1. It was cowardly, but for a moment I was tempted to take the easy road. Haha, this situation is fun. Then like yesterday, should there be a penalty? A Dokkaebi spoke, followed by the system messages. A scenario penalty has been added. Some existing green zones will be disabled. No! Ah! Screams ran through Chungmuro Station. The closest scream came from the boy. Ah! As soon as the green zone disappeared, the boy's small body was shredded by the ground rats. Thanks to the boy buying some time, I was able to run through the passage. However, the monsters that came through beyond the broken screen door blocked the path. I hid Lee Gil-yong behind me and pulled out Unbroken Faith. The blade of white pure star energy quickly pushed back the incoming monsters. But the numbers didn't go down at all. The person who fought with these monsters until sunrise, Yu Jung, was a monster. I wasn't sure if it was possible for me, even though I changed all my coins with stats. At this moment, Lee Gil-yong spoke. Hyung, you know... Don't talk now, I'm busy. You can just leave me here. What? I really don't understand it. Why are you helping me? Hyung Song Hyung, Nanunas. If you're alone, you'd be better able to survive. He could calmly speak such words before his death. Maybe this kid's mind was already dead. Yes, you're right. Another ground rat fell to the ground with its head cut off. It's comfortable to live alone, eat alone, and survive alone. But why was I acting this way? If anyone could ask me, I couldn't explain exactly. But I could say one thing with certainty. I know a novel that was developed in such a way and was ruined. Huh? I thought it every time, but I wasn't a protagonist. I wouldn't be a hero or a savior, but Lee Gil-yong's eyes were shaking. I lifted him onto my back again and said, "Hold on tight." I wouldn't let Lee Gil-yong die. At least not today.